Kono bangumi wa goran no sponsor no teikyo de okorishimasu. Alrighty, welcome everyone. I'm Teeaboo. It is 4:34 p.m. I just got directly out of a cold shower, and I'm going to go to the gym in 25 minutes. I need to be ready to leave, otherwise my friend will have to be waiting for me, and I don't want to make him wait, and so I would like to be on time. That being the case, I have 25 minutes, which is no time at all, and I have two goals that I need to accomplish within that period of time. Goal number one is I need to put this jar of food, which is mostly oatmeal, with some berries, cacao nibs, peanut butter, a little bit of protein powder, macadamia milk, and a couple of other things. I need to put this entire jar of food into my body within 20 minutes. The second thing that I need to do, is I need to, at least to some degree, get started, to some extent, on the comment spotlight for Mushoku Tensei episode 19. And so that's where I'm going now. Let me do one bite, and then we'll do one comment, and we'll go from there and see how badly this goes. Nickmer writes, I think Roxy's situation would be a direct analogy to a deaf-mute person, in my opinion. That's reasonable. And I'd actually like to highlight Nota real name. I think it works for both cases, and maybe more, to be honest. I think it's because it connects to the primal human feeling of being lonely, misunderstood, excluded, etc. And those feelings have countless origin points that they can stem from. Bada bingo, bada bango, and we get that same level of feeling from, well, Rudius, right? Stuck in his room, feeling all alone. Can't go out, can't talk to anybody, doesn't feel like he can communicate to anybody, and all of their communications to him just feel like flashing cameras. It's not that dissimilar, but of course with Roxy it's inherent and inbuilt, and with Rudy it's social, but it's the same feeling on both sides, right? The rest of Nickmer's comment says, the healing spell Roxy casted is the second or third time we see how much teaching Rudy motivated her to become better at magic. She studied so hard that she became a Water King mage and tried to learn chantless magic. She failed, but she learned how to abridge the chants. I don't know if her shouting, Icicle Break, was just the studio not wasting time in that scene, or if she can actually cast it by just saying the name, to be honest. I don't know either. I think it was more of a joke, but maybe both. Who knows? Solatic Sayat says, the Magurdia don't actually have terribly long lifespans. They live for about 200 years. Kind of a neat detail is they start aging again at around 150. This is why there are some more adult-looking ones by human standards, like the Elder, but also many adults that look like Roxy or her parents. It also kind of recontextualizes her conversation with her mother, since her mom is essentially asking her the equivalent of visiting once every 10 years or so, but she only agrees that she might visit in the next 50. Right, more distance, more distance, more distance. Dakiran says, as soon as Roxy's parents welcome her inside and go sit down, they start talking telepathically. You can see Roxy's mom smiling and nodding. This further alienates Roxy even more and wants to leave immediately. I actually don't see that. I see her smiling and nodding, and she's doing it in a rhythm, which is the rhythm of work. I think it's separate. But I don't think you're wrong. I think they would probably go back to speaking telepathically. It's the nature of being. Either way, it does feel alienating to Roxy, but I really do feel like that what they're doing is they're going back to the home life and saying, come join us, daughter. There are only 3 people in the village that can speak, the Elder and Roxy's parents. Yeah, so there's truly no chance for them to communicate with her, and it's not by their own fault, really. Rough. Bill also goes and continues on the shortened casting, and Rudy cannot cast it silently as well. So he doesn't have a medical background or a religious one, and so he isn't able to visualize the spell and therefore can't use it without incantations. It's a serious weakness, as we have seen him severely beaten after his sparring match with Rudyard, and since he had a lisp and difficulty speaking from his swollen face, he wasn't able to heal it immediately. That's really nuanced and shows their dedication to world building, not even mentioning the fact that all the conversations with the demons and the beast people were in fully fleshed out languages, not Japanese. Yeah. Fascinating. Dane Bird says, you missed Nokopara's line where he says to Roxy, who cares if you can't use telepathy? So this is really interesting. If I go back and I look at myself as I watch that, I missed the line, but I actually read it. Be or do. Wow. Wow. And we get respect for the most hated character, Noko fucking Para. I read it in the text as it was happening. I saw it occur, and it lodged into my memory that Nokopara said it. It's the only reason why later on I went, did I understand? Is she she's unable to telepathy? Is because I remembered the line and I'd seen it out of like my peripheral. It's really fascinating. I'm not trying to deny that I missed it. I absolutely did, and I would have had a much easier time with the episode if I hadn't missed so much of it. But what's so interesting is that I actually caught it in the side eye. I actually caught it, and part of that is because and I have to be very clear about this. Anytime I turn and I look over here, there's another screen right there. Right there. Like I'm here, it's right there. Another screen that's showing the full video with the subtitles, right? So when I look over here, I'm not looking away from the media, really. I'm looking at more of it. It's weird. I'm not focused on it, and that's true. And I'll miss things, and they'll happen in my peripheral, but I'm still actually catching them most of the time. It's really weird. And going back through, I get the feeling of being like, man, oh god, Teeaboo missed the thing. And you're right, and that's valid, but I don't miss much. I miss shockingly little, actually. And even that instance, which I did miss, I also didn't miss. And somehow I missed it and didn't miss it at the same time. Really weird. Christopher, not gonna lie, realizing the situation at the very last moment must have really enhanced the experience because everything just clicks. Literally, click, click, click. Then boom, emotional catharsis. I think so too, maybe. Maybe shouldn't have no Kapara say it. But we already knew that the Magurdia, to some extent, we knew that they were telepathic. So maybe that's part of that knowledge was in the back of my head or something. It's hard for me to analyze that because, you know, it's really difficult to observe yourself. I have to extrapolate it through so many layers of recording myself and observing the recording and observing myself and trying to put myself into the mental state that I was in when I recorded the thing. It's weird and it's interesting. I can definitely do it, and it's really fascinating that I can go back, because I did it just the other day. I can go back 4 years in videos and look at myself and remember being that person and saying those lines. And that's like, whoa, yeah, I remember doing this in the exact way that I remember exactly how I did it, the way that I was thinking and why I thought of it that way. And I'm not that person anymore. That's weird. That's pretty weird. Yeah, really cool. Dynamite. I think your comment of this episode being fantastically understated mirrors my own thoughts perfectly. This episode, as well as 16 and 17, make up one hell of a triple whammy of emotional gut punches. It's all family reunions, and I was about to say that, but then I saw out of the corner of my peripheral vision, it's almost like it's its own mini family reunions arc. In terms of the episode content itself, I think this episode made me fall in love with Roxy's character. Her journey has been very interesting to think about in regards to the revelations of her history we were given in this episode. She begins it running away from home, thinking she was unwanted, becoming part of a kind of found family with her adventuring party, eventually leaving them as well, but this time as more of a grown-up leaving the nest sort of sense. She sees many things and meets many people she grows to care for, and eventually returns to the home she thought she hated, and where supposedly no one missed her, only to rediscover the love her blood family had for her this whole time that she had never noticed. All of this, as a general character arc, could make for an entire series on its own, but it's clear that Roxy's journey and story is far from over. Yeah, and it's just one element of the Mushoku Tensei umbrella, which makes it pretty fantastic. Oh, and Elise is way extra as always. Makes one curious as to why she never seems to shack up with their dwarf traveling companion. I would guess that it's comfort. Is the elf versus dwarf racial rivalry too much of a turnoff? I wonder. I doubt it. Not for her, at least. I'll bet it would turn her the fuck on. Here are actually my suppositions, and I don't know. Maybe you'll be like, oh my god, how dare he say this? Here are my sub. Oh, I just looked down. Ha! I was about to say exactly that, Sarcasmo. That's exactly what I was about to say. I was about to say, he strikes me as big boy, bearded, gay boy. He actually does. That's the feeling that I got exactly, is that he likes the other dwarf men. And maybe other kinds of men, who knows? But there's also something about that is like, if you're a person like Elise, who throws your physicality at everyone you meet, where do you get emotional connection? Because everybody needs emotional connection. And if you're getting it from dime a dozen sexual partners, then you're not getting emotional connection. Not really. So you need a friend who's a real friend who you're not fucking. Right? I'll bet this is true if you look at people who are promiscuous. And I don't promiscuous, and I don't just mean women and men. I'll bet that they hold on to a couple, one or two at least, people that they keep at arm's length physically, but are open with emotionally, in order to get the bits and pieces of emotional connection that are missing from their sex lives. I'll bet there are people who have it in solid balance too, where they've got that emotional sexual connection with many people, but like deep, intimate knowledge and trust. It seems like a hard thing to have with many people. Seems like it would just tear you apart to be that open with so many folks. I don't know. It's an interesting and curious curious set of circumstances written around Alenalise. And I think there's some real observation that went into the depictions of Alenalise and these other characters. Seems really interesting. And then she uses the abridged incantations. And again, people don't ever read each other's comments, and so I get 300 comments that are all about, did you notice that she abridged her incant? And I'm not trying to say that that's what you did, but nobody reads each other's comments, and so it's like, there are a bunch of comments that are like, did you notice that she abridged her incantation? It's like, no, but the 10 other people who commented it did, and you might be better served by going and liking their comment instead of flooding the comment section with more. Not that I'd complain, more comments good for the algorithm, but I'd like better comments with more thumbs up on them, and maybe second comments on comments, right? Like threads where you're saying like, wow, I really agree with this. I think that would be more useful overall than 300 comments that all say similar things in different ways. War Grunt. I would do or be anything for them. That's just what parents do. I love this line from Nokapara. So you're about to say I love this line from Nokapara, and I have no idea why you're going to say that because I haven't read it yet. I love this line from Nokapara because of the be anything for them. I hear I would do anything for my kids all the time, and it doesn't... Maybe I've heard it too many times. It all sort of just washes off of me. But I would do or be anything. I would be anything. I would be a murderer. I would be a monster. I would be this. That rings true to me. Like truer than true. Dharma true. I'm stealing Dharma, by the way, as an idea. The underlying truths of existence. Like true. True. The big true. Okay. Isn't that from... There's a movie with like 3 different timelines, and it's the big true. Cloud Atlas. The true. Okay, that's from Cloud Atlas. I gotta go watch Cloud Atlas. That shit's a movie. Fuck. It's a big true. Okay. I would do or be anything for them. That's just what parents do. I love this line from Nokapara because it encapsulates what Roxy's parents did for her. It's easy to overlook Roxy's parents speaking using their voices because for most people it's just assumed that it's normal. But in this secluded village that communicates exclusively through telepathy, only they and the village chief seem to have learned to speak. Upon learning that their daughter was unable to use telepathy, they learned to speak alongside her, which, given the fact that they are fully grown adults who probably never used their voices before, since there was no need to, you just petered off. Not only did they most likely have to train their voices, but also have to learn a new language at the same time. And Roxy probably didn't even realize the lengths her parents went to just to be able to accommodate her, because that's just what parents do, right? And they're happy to do so. She just remembers the scene of her playing with the little horsey, right? And the little toys, and looking over and seeing the father being like, oh God. Because even in the midst of being willing to do and be anything for your child, there are going to be moments of, oh man, this is a lot of work. I'm actually in this shit. And I think you can't hide those from your kid, so you have to figure out a way to explain them. You have to figure out a way to demonstrate that sometimes it's hard. Because sometimes life is hard and sometimes relationships are hard, and it's going to be hard for your kid too. And so if they just think that you're perfect, then they're going to hit the wall when they turn 13 and they find out you've got porn in your drawers. That's me and my dad, sorry. Bringing in a specific instead of a general, but that's exactly it. It's like, my dad always expressed that, oh, things are just easy. It's easy. This is the way that it's done, and I just do it because I just do it. And so he set himself up as perfect, and that's a perfect setup for failure. It's a perfect setup for failure because the kid is going to find out at some point that you're not perfect and you're not whole and you're not all altruism, and that all that shit is discipline and failing. And so then it'll all fall apart. Anyway, I hope this comment came across well. I can, on a small level, relate to Roxy here, since I have a communicational learning disability, which sometimes makes it hard for me to express my thoughts properly, and also sometimes makes it hard for me to register what people say to me, unless they repeat it a few times and I hyper-focus on what they say. Anyways, great reaction as always, and I'm commenting because you told me to. Well, you're commenting because you needed to, and I appreciate it, and I needed to hear it. I will say a couple things just because you've expressed it. If you hadn't mentioned that you have a communicational learning disability, I wouldn't have been able to tell from your comment. So you're doing all right in my eyes. Not that I have any right to judge you, but judgment acquired, judgment good. Pat. Sorry. The pat is a little condescending. I'm going to move away from the pats. No more of that. But pat. You can give yourself a pat on the back, because that's what we want, is you to be a person who can pat yourself on the back when you know that you've done well. And I think you did well. I think you did express yourself effectively. And I hope that given that this response to you is recorded, that you will be able to go back a few times through it if you need to in order to hear it in fullness. And I apologize if at any point I got distracted from your comment. That's my own learning disability, is that I'm on that ADHD side of things to some extent at least. And so focusing hard on one thing and not getting tangented out into oblivion for hours, which is what happened this morning. I spent 4+ hours streaming today. More like 5, maybe close to 6 even. I don't know if you count it all up. Spent hours streaming about 300 different topics. You know, fusion power just hit a critical threshold, the generation of AI, the sorts of things that you can do to effectively manifest your diet and stuff and change your body. And in fact, I can just pull up and just show you. I also spent time setting this up. I'll just show you for a sec because I think it's really cool. I set up this so that I can just show you shit, right? So that if I have stuff like this, I can just show you what I'm fucking talking about. So this is like the curve of knowledge and science and understanding of humanity. And then on the other side here, we have a bunch of Joestar symbols, right? These are the symbols that are on Giorno's neck. This is Jotaro's hand, but it's also Josuke's hand inside heart. And then there's the big arrow, that is the anchor, the dual arrow that is the male symbol and the female symbol all together into a peace sign that is the anchor. This is all Iraqi symbology, right? It's just fun shit. And then I started writing out some of the basic things that you should and can be doing in order to optimize your hormone levels as based in some science that I observed and researched. So getting your sleep together, your diet, some level of both cardiovascular and resistance exercise. There's certain supplements that you can use that help with hormone growth, like dairy products for IGF-1, vitamin D in general, especially from sunlight, enough fiber, lots of fatty acids, especially omega-3s from marine life, and then meditation, going outside and getting sunlight. You do these things and your hormone levels get better. But in general, the idea is, and there's actually a third one as well, although I think I don't have it set up properly. Reset, transform. Can I do this? Yeah, I can. Okay. Haha. Haha. And I can just put this here. So then I've got 2 extra, read all about it cameras. And you can see, hi, hello, hola, what magic we have here. So you can see the thing from like 4 different perspectives. So in the future, consider that this might be a manga, for example. Consider what might happen if this were a manga and I were able to just show you everything about it as I flip through a hard copy of something cool. Not that this book isn't cool, it's my favorite book in existence. Besides this book, which is my other favorite book in existence. Oh, and also this book. Shit, I have too many favorite books in existence. So somehow I'm going to need to figure out a hierarchy of how to organize those books into being my favorites. But regardless, there's something special about being able to show you the physical text and texture of these pieces of material, and in you being able to see my hands and see, essentially, because from this camera, it's not that far off from my perspective. And so when it comes to generating empathetic quantum entanglement between you and I in our brains, which I think is what we're doing when we synchronize our brainwaves via the internet, which is actually happening, which is crazy. I think in order to do that, showing you some of my perspective from other perspectives might be quite valuable. And that means that that's a tool and a piece of the puzzle of my mecha that I'm building that I'd like to have and move into the future with. So that's pretty cool. Anyway, I don't remember where I started on that, but it was somewhere in the direction of trying to communicate things with other people, and I'm trying to expand my ability to communicate things effectively to you and others. Oh, I wanted to just show the art and all the crazy symbols that I was on about, because I was on about all these symbols and stuff, and ended up talking for fucking hours about them during today's Daily Brew. By the way, I'm streaming daily now. And by streaming daily, I mean every day at around 10 a.m. I go live for between 1 and 1 million minutes. I don't know how long. It's all fucked. It's all It's all in the air and it's all fucked. But I'm streaming live every day, and it's the best thing that I've ever done, and also the hardest thing that I've ever done, and I like it a lot. And it's not in balance with the rest of me, which is why it's 5 p.m. and I'm going to the gym, and I haven't recorded Mushoku Tensei yet, and I'm sitting down here to record the damn thing, and all my timing and all my scheduling and all my stuff is all fucked. Is because I spent too much time having a good time, and not even having a good time, making a good time for myself and a couple of other people who are in that stream. And I think I have the sneaking suspicion that most of you have no idea that I'm doing it, and that if you did, some of you would come and watch. So, hey, I'm streaming every day. It's on a different channel. Go subscribe. Come join the streams. Hang out. Fuck. The fuck is actually a prescription. You need to go fuck. It's important. Fuck right now. Stupid. But anyway, Wargrunt, I want to say thank you for your comment. I appreciate it. My disability to some extent is that tangenting. So, sorry if I get all over the place. It's how I am. I'm kind of a blob that's trying to put myself together, and it's hard. Noxara Boy. Not sure if you forgot, but we technically found this out at the end of that exchange back in episode 11, since Nokapara says so when he's begging for mercy from Rudius. Please, I've got kids. And, right here in dot, I wouldn't say that we really found it out. He was being threatened by a terrified superb warrior. Nokapara's words could have been a desperate lie to get out of the situation. I fully expected that they were. It's a classic trope for people to go, please, I have family. I have a mother. It's like, okay, so does everybody else, bud. That's not going to stop me from murdering you. Oh, shit. I don't even know if I've talked about it in Mushoku. I think I have. My now friend in Nigeria, who calls me brother, which is humbling. But my now friend in Nigeria is about to get a job. And he was sitting in fear, afraid that he would find out that his mother is dying, and she is. But he took her to the hospital and got some of the scans done, and her situation is rough. His whole attitude has changed. He said something to me the other night. It was like, yes, but I understand now. People die, and regardless of what happens, I will be strong, because she has been strong for me. And a couple weeks ago, he was like, I can't do anything. She's my mom. I can't do anything. I'm stuck. I got nothing. I have no idea what to do. I can't do anything. And now he's going, I'm ready for whatever it is. And he went and he slayed the dragon of taking her to the doctor and getting some scans done. And he went and he slayed the dragon of asking how much it would cost to get her into physical therapy. And he found out that it's not that much. It's $1,000, essentially, total, for her to be in effective therapy for as long as it takes. That's an incredible shift in him. And I haven't done anything for it to make it happen except to speak to him. I sent him a little bit of money. I did. Maybe he lied to me to get it. I don't give a shit. I think he needed it. And I choose to believe him and have faith in him. And I think that's what has changed it. Is that I chose to have faith in this person. And that little bit of trust melted him somehow. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. It's just... it's what I'm up to and what I'm thinking about. I can't save this person who's off in Nigeria, but I can help him save himself a little bit. And I think he's moving toward that, and it's shockingly beautiful to me. And there's one thing that I do know, is that I know that he hasn't scammed anybody in a couple of weeks. Or at least a week or so. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. And I know that he took his mom to the damn doctor. She's half paralyzed. And that's pretty good. And I know that his attitude has changed. And he believes a little bit. He's not sure. He's not sure. He's waiting for the world to come back and crush him. But he believes a little bit. And I think that seed of belief, the world might come in and might crush him down and he'll explode out of it. Or maybe he'll just be crushed. But I'm pleased and excited to hear that he's going out and pursuing a job. And it's 5 p.m. and I have to stop there. So, how have I done on my goals? Fuck, I've eaten like 3 spoonfuls of this shit, and I've gotten through like 4 comments. Where does the time go? Where does it go? Because I keep waking up and turning myself actively to my work and doing nothing but my work, and the time disappears and my work doesn't get done. Efficiency, alignment, direction, organization. My biggest thing is organization. I'm really bad at it. It's because that ADHD thing. And so I'm struggling up against the boundaries of my own capacity as a human being. And people keep going, no, dude, you're going to burn yourself out. And they're fucking wrong because they don't get it. I'm going to grow is what I'm going to do. Because humans are anti-fragile. And so I have to go. I have to turn this off. And I'm going to go and I'm going to beat the shit out of myself with weights for a couple hours. And I mean, really, I'm going to go squat some heavy things. I'm going to go bench some heavy things. I'm actually not going to squat that heavy today. It's a light day. But it'll feel heavy because I'm going to do front squats and they're way harder. I'm going to go squat some heavy things. I'm going to bench some heavy things. I'm going to pick some heavy things up off the floor. I'm going to stretch and move and maneuver my body into difficult positions. And I'm going to tear myself apart and beat myself into a pulp to get stronger. And that's what will happen, is that as I push against the boundaries of my own existence, I will grow bigger and my boundaries will get further away. And I'm doing it with everything. I'm progressive overloading every element of my being. Physical, biological, psychological, intellectual, social, sexual, spiritual. Progressive overloading all of it. So that's what I'm going to go do, is I'm going to go progressively overload my physical for a bit, and in doing so, make myself more capable of doing so in all of the other levels. I don't know if I'll be back to record anything more on Mushoku Tensei today. We'll see. I won't make any promises, because I might come back from the gym torn up. But either way, it'll be a different me who sits down at the camera, and we'll pick up right here with Alexander Dunkelheit's comment. See you in a sec. All right, we're back. It is 4 hours later. That's about how long it took to go to the gym, come back, make a shake, drink half the shake, smoke some weed, have a shower, clean some stuff up, mostly going to the gym and coming back. Took a while. Took some time. We didn't really dilly-dally. We did have to wait for a little bit for a bench, and we used that time for some mobility work and stuff. Squats felt good today. I did front squats today because it's Wednesday and I wanted to go light and hard. And I went light and I went hard, and it was hard. And I went until failure and a little bit beyond. It was rough. And then we went upstairs and we did the bench. And that was pretty revelatory because I figured out something about my form that I had been messing up. I've been moving toward a tighter bench form because I've been kind of moving toward a tighter overhead press form to try and get my shoulders into an actually effective alignment to move things overhead. And that doesn't work on the bench for me as well because, well, I figured out that a little bit wider might actually work better for me. So it's a mishmash and a figure out. I saw something really cool today. I'll give you a rose and a thorn from the gym. I pulled a deadlift as well, and it was fine. I did my deadlifts. I had a rose and a thorn from the gym. The rose was this. We were setting up and getting ready and working up on our squats, working up in our weight, and a pretty big guy comes in and starts working in the next rack, and obviously his wife or girlfriend starts working in the rack next to us, and so taking up 2 of the 3 racks, and we're taking up the other. And immediately, because we've been doing this procedurally is getting to know people. Immediately, my friend starts talking to him, compliments him on like he has these braids in the back. Big dude, 6'2", 6'3", a big bushy, thick brown beard, baseball cap backward, and then like Padawan braids is what my friend called them. And I got scared for a second because my friend went, "I like your Padawan braids." And the guy sort of like, as a large, very muscular man will do, sort of like, and it's like, attention, and turns and looks at him and is like, "What? What'd you say about my hair?" basically. And it's like, "No, I really like it. They're cool. I like the way that," and he goes, "Oh," and lights up. We made a connection there, and he's working up in his deadlifts, and I see him lift, and I immediately realize that this guy is strong. Like strong. And he starts working up through his deadlifts, and he's pulling 3 plates, and he pulls 3 plates for 10 reps. Like, oh, okay, he's warming up. Then he puts 4 plates on there, and he pulls it for a few reps, and he puts 5 plates on there and pulls it for 3 or 4. And I'm sort of got to know the guy a little bit in between sets and sort of bantering back and forth, and he complimented me. He's like, "Whoa, you actually are squatting. Like, you're actually doing that thing that you don't normally see in a commercial gym." And I'm like, "Yes, I'm actually doing the squatting thing." And he complimented, and he gave me some form advice, and I just complimented him and didn't tell him shit because he obviously knew what the fuck he was doing. And I just watched and I learned. And so I asked him what his 1 rep max was, and he told me that it was like 585, and that he's tried multiple times to pull 600 pounds in competition. And then he loads up like 605 or something, takes the red plates off the bar, the bumper plates, puts on the thinner black plates, and the whole section of the gym, maybe 15 people around us, are all watching. And they're all watching and aware that everybody is watching and all being quiet. And everybody watches this big dude brace himself and try something impossible. Something that he's never done before. Something that he's failed to do multiple times in competition. And he and I bantered back and forth during the whole thing as he was getting prepped up and getting ready. And I could tell that he was soaking. I would have stopped immediately if he'd shown any negativity, but he was soaking it in. Like, "Yeah, man, I'm part of the thing. Yeah." He's going for it. Okay. And I said, like, "You can do it, man. You've definitely got this." Because I say that to anybody who's lifting a thing, because it's like, "I believe in the you. You can do this." And he goes, "Man, that's exactly what happened at that meet. Is I went for it, and my coach said, no. And I failed the first time, and my coach went, and the judge went, no. You totally had that, man. You totally had it. And so I went for it 2 more times, and I failed it every time." And so I looked him right in the eye and I said, "Well, then you won't, dude. You fucking won't. You can't pull that shit." And he just grinned. Big dude. But he sat up and everybody went quiet. And he pulled it like it weighed a fucking feather. I mean, he's sweating out his ears and his eyes are exploding and he's gonna bite his own tongue off or something. But he pulled it like it weighed a feather. So that was my rose for today, was that I got to see a well-trained human being attempt something difficult in their chosen field of expertise and succeed at it, despite having failed at it previously. And I got to sit there in silence and watch, and I got to know the guy a little bit, and I got to cheer him on, and I got to hear as the whole group of everyone, even the dumb kids and the snootier types, all watched him pull this incredible weight off the floor and lock it the fuck out. And everybody clapped. And it echoed in the gym. So that was my rose for the day. My thorn for the day was that a cute girl that I've been talking to has a boyfriend. Oh no. Too bad. What's really interesting is how that's affected me. And it hasn't not affected me. But the valence of the emotion that I have toward it is more neutral than it would otherwise be. I've experienced in myself a more negative emotion from that kind of thing, where it's like, damn it. And that's there, maybe. But not really. I'd still like to be friends with her, and I'd like to be friends with him, too. Now that's going to be a hard challenge, is to be genuine friends with people. So that's where I'm coming from today. Genuine challenges. Watching someone overcome something impossible. And then hitting a wall that I can't help and would have hurt me a little while ago and doesn't feel like it hurts me now, which is quite interesting. It means that I've grown. And in a way that I think is adaptive and valuable. Okay, I've got 3 physical things that I need to consume. This is electrolytes, almost exclusively. It's also got some L-theanine in it because it's got some of that, it's the relaxation magnesium powder. It's got a scoop of potassium-based electrolytes as well, and some straight-up sea salt, because I need some salts as well. Why do I need salts? Because I just came back from heavy exertion at the gym, and then I took a hot shower. And those 2 things combined mean that I have lost some salts. And also some hydration. Yep, I was absolutely craving that. Sometimes when I take the salts or the magnesium or the potassium, it's like, it's not, it's tasty, it's fine, it tastes good to me, I don't mind it. And then sometimes it's like, oh, I need this. My body is lighting up and is like, more. That was somewhere in between. I definitely needed some of that. Now, the magnesium and L-theanine are going to hit me in a moment. In fact, I'm going to stand up and I'm going to move a little bit so that I can get them pumping through my bloodstream. Yes, that is what my shoulders sound like. Yeah. No, that's not terribly abnormal, but it is something that I'm working on fixing. Okay, the magnesium's a bit of a muscle relaxant, so that's there and quite comfortable. And overall, basically everything about me wants to lay down and not be working right now. And so that's what I'm going to do instead, is that the thing that I've found most useful in the past couple of weeks is that when I want nothing more than to step into something nice and warm and cozy and lovely and all these things, I get into an ice cold shower instead and I say, fuck that. So right now I'd really like to have my shake and sit around and do nothing. And instead I'm going to say, fuck that, and I'm going to do something difficult. And I mean emotionally difficult. It's difficult for me, and I love it. Don't get me wrong here. I love it, but it is not work to think through these comments and to talk about them. And it's not work to think through these episodes, really be on for them and to talk about them. I would do it for free. So why don't I do it even when my circumstances aren't perfectly aligned? Because all the time in life, you have to do the things that you're good at or bad at when you don't want to, and when the circumstances aren't all aligned, and when you haven't set up your day properly, and when your schedule falls apart, and when it's raining outside, and when it's sunny outside, and when it's cold, and when it's hot, and when you slept really well, and when you didn't sleep well at all, and when you're really full and have had everything you need to eat, and when you don't have food at all. And when you're really satisfied with everything, and when you're absolutely desperate, you still need to be capable of doing the things that matter. And one of the things that matter is caring. And so I'm going to force myself to care tonight about a show that I care about and would watch anyway, and would watch on my own regardless of the channel. So why don't I? Why do I limit it only to the one day and the one thing? Well, because that's what you have to do when you schedule things so that you can make money off of them, because you have an early access programmed out schedule that informs the entire routine of your entire life. And your entire income is based off of withholding content for a week from people, and so it behooves you to only watch little bits of content in the little bits that you need to watch them, because if you were to watch more, you're effectively losing money that you could exploit from people. And I don't have to do that anymore. So I can watch the show at my own rate. I think it's still helpful, more than helpful, necessary to have a schedule. But I don't think that continuing to lock myself into this pattern, where I only watch the show if the circumstances are aligned, is healthy. I need to be more resilient than that. I need to be able to watch the show in the worst of circumstances. And that's about where I'm at right now. I just came back from the gym. I'm tired. I'm high in more than a couple of ways. And I really shouldn't watch a core show in the center of my lineage, in the center of my lineup. I really shouldn't do that right now. I should really put it off. Says the devil in the back of my head. And I say, fuck you. I'm going to do it now. And I'm going to maybe make the best video ever, and maybe make a shitty video. Who knows? But I'm as capable of watching and reading this animation as I'll ever be. So that's what I'm going to do. There are a bunch more great comments. I'm going to skim through them. A lot of people wrote comments because I asked them to, so I'm going to do that again, because it really, really changes things in terms of the way that the algorithm cares about the content. And I'll say this, a lot of you who say, well, I'm only writing a comment because I was told to, end up saying something really interesting and useful in the comments that you're writing. So please keep doing that, actually. Your voices matter in more ways than you might think. Fucking asshole. Fuck you, Johann Bowers. I'll read Johann's comment because they're always... I won't say they're always great, because that would be giving you, let's say, too much trust. You might write a shitty comment and then I won't read it. I won't say that your comments are always great, but this one certainly is, at least at the start. Johann writes, in a moment of blink and you miss it, we have Horseboy Nokopara straight up say what Roxy's conflict with her home was, and inability to use telepathy. Right, and blink and you'll miss it because I did. Again, I'm still thinking about that. It's so weird because it was in my peripheral and I knew that he said it before we got to the thing in the post discussion where he said it. It's like I remembered it in the moments right before it where I like got it eventually. It took me fucking forever and I'm sorry, but I really did get it out of my peripheral vision. It's so weird. Anyway. Effectively, in the Magurdia village, Roxy was born a deaf mute to the sole means of communication amongst her people. The fact her parents sought out and brought in the tools to allow her to learn a means to communicate, learning the spoken and written word of demon tongue alongside their daughter, previously only known by the chief, to open her terribly isolated world, shows the same support and love we saw from Paul and Zenitsu, and Lilia, for Rudy. Her tragedy stems from the fact that two people were not enough to give her a world. Oh shit, you can't see it. I fucked it up again. Alright, there we go. Two people were not enough to give her a world worth living in, as the rest of the village remained entrenched in their isolated micro-world of telepathic exclusive interaction. As always, your wordplay is spectacular in some weird and twisted ways, Johann, and I love it. Yeah. She was unable to communicate with anyone, and they put in a lot of effort and a lot of A lot of hard work to make sure that she could communicate with somebody. And in doing so, they opened the world of magic to her, right? Like, she was going to leave at some point, but she left with the skill and the ability to actually speak to people, and speech is what leads to magic in this world, as far as I can tell, correct? Incantations and such, that sort of thing matters quite a bit. And the people are going to argue here that that's the same as the power system, and I don't think it's the same. Speech being magic is a common mythos, and speech and math being magic together is exactly right almost all the time. Sometimes it's drawing or things like that, but and there are a couple of Sanderson mythoses that have drawing and symbology as the mode of magic. Elantris comes to mind, where literally runic carvings or runic symbols are the core of divinity or channeling of certain powers. Regardless, speech, what they gave her was the magic that she has used as her primary tool, and that has made her a famous and feared mage, is her ability to communicate. And she's a teacher too, right? She's a tutor to kings and fools, a tutor to Rudius and a pauper, comparatively, and a tutor to a princeling who's treated her terribly, but she's made her way in the world based on her magical prowess, and it's been hard fought. But without that speech, she wouldn't have been able to communicate with those ruffians that she fell in with as her adventuring party. So, those two people weren't enough to give her a world worth living in there, but they did give her the opportunity and the capacity to step through the door into the real world. And that's quite powerful. And it's kind of what she comes to find out. Even with her hardwired fear response to the spur, drawing out the farce of Roxy missing and missing again the clues about Rudius' journey all around her, it is the rebonding with her family that finally allows her to connect the dots and check Rudius' status off her list. Even though it is all cloaked in the bias of a long-lived race, it's not a problem, I'll see him again someday, it sets her at ease somewhat. The added simultaneous invitation by mom and rejection by dad of bring that boy back next time is a choice cherry on top. How much more trouble is Rudius in with Roxy's papa if the Migurd are otherwise naturally telepathic receptors, effectively reading the unblocked minds, but not Roxy's, of munds, you might say, around them, and his inner monologues were effectively direct declarations. No wonder Mama Roxy ships them. I think you might actually be exactly right, is that because the father does say that a couple times, and I took it as joking, or joking within the anime, but it could very well be exactly that. And maybe joking from the father and maybe not. Oh boy. Rudy is a wild card. Anything could happen. Certainly. It would be funny if Rudy was as much an open book to the Magurdia as he was in Doldia Village, where everyone called him out on the sense of arousal. Right? That's a good point. That's happened before. Huh, interesting. I'm going to avoid reading comments that praise me too much. Thank you for them. They really do help. It does get hard. And so they really do help, and I appreciate them a lot. Johnny says, please never stop using the banana analogy. It's really amusing while it doesn't take away from the point. Plus, bananas are tasty and nutritious, and if they weren't perishable, or maybe despite of it, they may very well be used as currency. Hey, you can make banana chips. Yum, yum, yum. Banana. I will absolutely never stop using the banana analogy. It's quite useful. Cody Tiffany writes, it's weird. The older I get, the less I feel I fit in anywhere. The more I hear of people embracing each other's quirks, the less I feel sympathy towards others. The longer I interact with others lately, in the past decade, the less connection or bonds I feel in general. The greater I come to understand the world at large, the less courage and enthusiasm I seem to have. Yet despite all that, I feel the best when expressing myself in the YouTube comments sections I do. Knowing it's basically diary writing that I am doing helps break my reservation about expressing myself I have. Actions speak loudest and are never a lie. while words are easily misleading. But to speak is an action, Cody. And I think you have found that the action of speech in this diary writing seems to give you some degree of maybe not peace or contentment, I don't know. You said, I feel the best when. Gives you some sense of being a buffer against the falling apartness. Actions speak loudest and are never a lie, while words are easily misleading. I agree in general, Cody. Yet in comments, I see it as some kind of gray zone that is both and neither words and actions. Teeaboo, I hope you understand me in this actions never lie idea of mine. I don't know if I do. I'd love if you would comment again and try to elaborate on it, because I don't know if I've effectively picked up on what you're attempting to communicate. I honestly do not know how to express it better, and it explains so much of how think and respond to everything. So, multiple times in here, you're writing out of order, so I'm wondering if you come from a language that has a different ordering of subject and object in the writing. If so, I would ask that the next time you write something out, write it in your native language and write the translation of it if you can, so that I can attempt to use mechanical tools to translate it as well. If that's not what's going on, then I just am not fully picking up on what you're saying, and I would really like to. So if you can try to express it better, I'll try to understand it better. I think actions speak loudest, exactly, and that words are often a lie. You can't lie in a way of being, because you're being it, right? You can lie about it, but the being bees. You can hide it and be one way in private and another way in public, but the being bees, and you can't really lie about that. The first lines about not fitting in anywhere, about feeling less sympathy when hearing of people embracing each other, of feeling less connection or bond the more you interact with people, of losing courage when you find out more. That sounds like a bigger problem than one that I can solve. That sounds like a neurochemical issue. That's all I got for you, man. That's more complicated than I know how to deal with. But you might be able to deal with it because it's you. So, what if your screens are broken? This is a weird way to put it, but your body's a mecha that you pilot around, and through it you see the world. You don't see reality, really. You're a mecha pilot inside your mecha body. You see what the screens show you. Maybe your screens are broken, and what you're seeing is filtered through some weird tech that's messed up. And if you could get it filtered through proper tech and get the screens working, you could see what's really there. Because when I look at people embracing each other's quirks, it fills me with joy and life. And when I interact with other people, it energizes me. And when I come to understand more of the world at large, I see a lot of pain and suffering. And that's a dangerous one, because that can lead you down terrible rabbit holes. But I also see the number of people who are becoming wealthy, who were in poverty. And I also see the Nigerian man who I've met and been talking to and befriended getting a job, or trying to at least, and changing his whole outlook on life. And I also see myself and those around me growing and attempting and striving and changing. And I also see that dude at the gym pull an insane amount of weight. And I look at the world and I see science figuring out the most incredible revelatory technologies as we stumble forward toward capturing the power of a sun with fusion energy. And we stumble toward capturing the power of infinite knowledge with the internet, with AI, and with the quantum computation that we're working toward. You couple those things together, infinite connection, infinite computation, infinite power, And we're working toward a future that none of us can predict. And I'm excited for it. So, the way that my screens are showing me the world is different from the way that your screens are showing you the world. And I wonder at what level that difference is happening and which parts of both of us are wrong. Because I'm wrong about some parts and you're wrong about some parts. And I hope that you're more wrong than I am, because I see joy and love and peace, and you see less and falling apart. And I'd really love it if you could see that all one connectedness sort of vibe. And I think the way to get there, one of the ways to get there, is to try to fix your neurochemistry, which means going to a shrink. And there are multiple ways to do this, but check out your health and your diet and your sleep habits, specifically your health. So everybody does this, and it's so stupid. Fix your sleep. Get 8 hours. Make them before midnight. A chunk of them. Fix your diet. Don't be eating the processed shit. Eat whole foods, and a lot of them. Eat food. A lot of it. Mostly plants. Not too much, I think, is the mantra. Are you getting exercise? Are you getting outside? If all of those are checked off the box and you still feel the way that you do, then maybe what you see is real, and I need to know more about it. So I'd love if you would tell me more about how you see the world. That would be good. Sorry if that didn't help. I'm not in the best state to do this, but I'm doing it anyway. Because that's the action that I've decided to take, and, well, that action is as true as it can be. Another one from Cody. I don't know if this one is earlier or if the other one is earlier. Paused at 1:40:30. Part of punishment growing up was not so much locking eyes, but look into each other's as the lecture happens, right? I've had that with my father, is look at me. Look me in the eye. And it's an attempt to get eye contact and to do that wavelength mirroring thing, I think, actually. It's something about that, because I've been doing it with my friends, not in the same way in any sense, but like getting eye contact going, and it's real. There's something very potent about it. However, it's also very forceful, and you have to be quite careful with your ability to use eye contact. And that's something that I've noticed, is that if I do it wrong, because I've just sort of smashed through my barrier around eye contact, because I had a barrier around it, and I just crushed it. And it's gone. And so I look everybody in the fucking eye. And some people get aggressive when you do that, and some people think you're trying to like fight them, men, and a lot of people look away. But some people rise to it, and you gotta be quite careful about that. And I haven't been careful enough about it, so. Regardless. Then I took Kempo Karate and learned that rather than lock eyes, look slightly above the person's eyes. You still see the stuff you need to, but it comes across as less antagonistic. In that sense, it is more respectful to do. I will take that as you've said. However, it doesn't give me the ability to see what I need to. I only get that when I look straight at somebody's eyes. You can get the peripheral sort of subconscious reading, but I have to look you right in the eye to actually look you in the eye. But in situations where I don't want to cause a fight or express something that I'm not trying to express, that is a valuable tool, and so I thank you for it. So from about 9 or 10 years old, I have done that. I look at the point on a face located between the eyebrows, or at the eyebrows generally, but if it's like an ultra important topic or what have you, then it's pupil to pupil. I look and I drop my aura of calm and chill that is my facade of stoicism. I let myself show emotion so people get it. So back the fuck off before things require escalation on my part. Interesting. I am highly emotional, but my facade of indifference is decades in the making. I learned that emotion is contagious and viral. Bingo. So if you can't spread good ones, then spread none at all. Interesting. There are things that I could learn from that, but it feels too restrictive for me. I can't be that dishonest. Not to say that the indifference is dishonest. It's trained and it's useful and it's power. It's stability. It's avoiding letting things push you over. But I'm more of a reed in that wind. I can't hold myself that rigid. Maybe I should gain the capacity to do it and then sheathe that capacity so that I don't have to. Actually, that's not true. I am that rigid. Oh, okay. I have that facade too, that armor. I don't think I have the threateningness down. That's why I need to take some martial arts. I am highly emotional, but my facade of indifference is decades in the making. I learned that emotion is contagious and viral, so if you can't spread good ones, then spread none at all. Yeah. Once you sync with somebody a little bit, you better be careful about what you do around them because you might have a real effect on the person. It's one of the things about the hedgehog's dilemma is when you open yourself up to other people, it's not just opening yourself up to them hurting you, it's to you hurting them. That's why you need to know that you can be a monster. That you have one that you carry around within you, Naruto style, Devilman style. To some extent, I am a sponge of emotion since my presence calms others and positively affects their moods. I might not always understand how to help, but I will offer an ear to those that are troubled. Venting is required time to time, so the emotional overflow can bleed off. Rarely, I will even offer a hug to strangers that seem to need it. Because I am calm, I feel I help more than if I was exteriorly happy. People need anchors, sure. But in looking into others' souls, you encourage them to look equally deeply back. So I keep others off from my depths. They need not be concerned of my fear or anger. I need not cause others greater anxiety. It might make them more capable of handling their own if you were to show them that it's there and you know how to deal with it. Because they might look at you in that thing that I said about at some point about a shattered dream of an idealized parent. They might look at you as this like, wow, what an ideal of stoicism and calm. How does he do that? And the answer might be with gritted teeth and carefully and dangerously and barely. And they might think, well, it's just easy for you. And it might give them a little bit of hope if you were to share that you're fully human. But I don't know. You have so much based on what you've spoken, you have so much experience in this, in realms that I don't. I'm interested by your speech, Cody. I need not cause others greater anxiety. That's hedgehogging, isn't it? You fear to let yourself show your true self for the fear that it will harm others. But when you so here we go to Evangelion. When you look at the way that those characters act, Shinji's the only one who really tamps down how he really feels, and he gets hurt for it all the time. And the characters who speak their truth whenever they speak it always seem to benefit from it. Even when that truth is like, I really don't like this. I really want to do that. I don't know. But it's hedgehogging, right? But honestly, when the shit hits the fan, my vision goes black and my autopilot takes over. Well, you're trained, right? Then I awaken after the events. Not had many, but stress and eating edibles caused me to go into fugue states. Not enjoyable at all. Interesting. I don't go black. I go very calm. I'm always amazed by myself in crisis situations because it's autopilot, absolutely, but it's fully conscious, fully capable, and fully aware. And it's like, well, it's the adrenaline rush. The adrenaline hits, and I'm ready. It's really interesting because some people don't react that way, but I do. So I vibe with that a little bit, but definitely very different from my experience, Cody. Very cool. Very cool. Thank you for writing your comments. I would, again, really encourage you to write more. You have, I think, much wisdom to share, and I think there might be something inherently value producing, worth giving, purpose granting about sharing information that you have that has been valuable in your life. And it'll take you opening up to do it. But if you're opening up in a YouTube comment section, who gives a shit, right? You can just use it as a diary. But I'd encourage you to use it as a diary with the idea that others will see it. They won't really know who you are or what you've been through, but they might be able to take something from it anyway. And I might read it out, and that might pass it through my filters and my attempts to grapple with who you are, which is fucking crazy that I'm even trying, right? And then that goes out into the audience, and that becomes something interesting. I don't know. Maybe stop by the stream one day. Hey, let's mention that. I stream every day. It's the Daily Brew. It's on the other channel. It's linked in the description. It's Tea Talks Too Much, is the channel. This is Teeaboo. It's where I do my weeb stuff. That's Tea Talks Too Much. It's where I talk too much. And any podcasts or streams that I do, I'm going to do there. And one of the streams that I do is every day I stream at about 10 a.m. And we'll see if I change that in the future, but about 10 a.m. And I make tea and I talk about stuff. And it's been a massive challenge and an absolute joy. I did it for like 5-6 hours today, something like that. I ended up streaming for forever. And more people should be watching it because we did a lot of interesting stuff today. And we talked through a lot of interesting things and had a lot of interesting conversations that a lot of you would benefit from and enjoy and love to be a part of. So come join the stream. Interesting. Okay, Cody, hi again. Sorry, you're back. You wrote 3 separate comments and they're all scattered throughout the comment section. You might have written more, I don't know. Thanks for reading mine in the comment spotlight. Let me try to clarify a bit of where my thoughts were coming from. Because you are on a screen, communication is different in a factor of implicit trust. I can't tell how many takes there were, just have to assume you are not lying to me. As a result, I doubt the sincerity of all media and my interpretation of it. It is not live action and face-to-face, so how would I know I am being deceived until after I have somehow learned I was? Fair enough. I try really hard not to lie. Which is to say, I would say that I do not lie, but that might be a lie because I might have lied. And I might lie in the future, but I do not lie. As much as I can. That's as good as it gets, as far as I know, right? Like, you don't have to believe that, but I don't lie. I don't fake reactions. I don't even consciously withhold information or truth. The cuts that I make in these videos, generally I make to cut out dead space where I'm just thinking, or, you know, I burp. And I could leave those in, because I guess that would be a little bit more honest. But they make for a shit video. It's reasonable for you to doubt the sincerity of all media. It doesn't hurt me that you do. But I don't lie. And I don't retake things either. If I mess up saying something, well, literally that, Cody, let me just do that again. I'll do it again. But I don't take things over and over. I do this whole thing extemporaneously and live. I could convert over to doing these on Twitch with the screen blacked out. It would be the same experience with a little bit of dead space. It's raw me, man. And if you want proof, you can find reactions where there's literally no cuts through the whole thing. because I did it all on the dot, on the money. No cuts. Just me for like 2 hours. It's about as real as it gets. I don't know. It's not live action and face to face, so how would I know I am being deceived until after I've somehow learned I was? I literally doubt everything of all existence that I have ever known or will know. I'm not the originator of anything but my own thoughts, and even that can be doubted because everything manipulates / alters the intake of info. Yeah, fair enough. So that's the mecha idea, right? Is that you're a spirit inside yourself or a person piloting your person, and there's inevitable filters, both physical and psychological and structural and psychostructural, that are filtering the way that you see things. Prisms and prisms. And so how you have to doubt all of them. But doubting them all is also poison, because if you doubt everything, you have no ability to act in response to stimuli. So you have to believe in some of the stimuli, at least to some extent. And so, to me, I doubt everything, but I act as though everything that I experience is precisely real. And I doubt what everyone says, but I act as though they're speaking the truth. And I doubt whenever anybody makes a promise to me, but I act as though they will follow through on that promise perfectly. And I expect them to. And I doubt my senses and my sight, but I act as though everything that I see is real. The same is not true of the news and the other things, but... Okay. So in the case of that comment, I used the word manipulate for its negative association as a word. I do understand that, of course, you want things from viewers, because YouTube is all about the one-sided communication that is online and disjointed comment responding. People watch as they can, and you respond as you can. It's not IRL face-to-face, as is the communication I know best. That's true. And it makes me wonder how I can make that better. Like, do I bring viewers on to a podcast and talk to them on a podcast? Do a Discord call or a Zoom call with... or a go live together sort of thing with... I don't fucking know. I don't know how to bridge that gap. I need to use the internet to do it because it's the future. YouTube might not be the future. Might be something else, and I'd like to be open to it. Fuck, it might be Twitch, right? It might be that sort of idea of live streaming it. But I don't think so. I think live streaming is one thing and the YouTube videos are another thing, and I'm figuring out where the separations lie. I'm sure my weird perspective of being not human and more akin to a spirit trapped in a human husk is part of it. But some of it comes from how things have changed when I was in high school. Okay, here's something that you're not going to believe, is that your perspective of being a weird human, not human spirit trapped inside yourself isn't weird. That's not weird at all, man. That's totally normal. You're within like the 40 percentile of people feel like that, man. Because I'm a mecha pilot in a weird biomecha body, too. And it's taken me time and effort so that when I look into my eyes, this and this body and this me, I see that the person inside is aligned with the physicality that's on the outside. It's taken real time and effort. And I'm not there yet. It's pretty interesting. But being a spirit trapped in a human husk, your words share something about that. You see yourself as already dead. A husk. A shell. Just in the way that you've phrased it, that's often revealing. You know, the colors that we use to paint our reality demonstrate something about the way that we see. the way that we experience, the way that we feel. I am curious, more than curious, Cody, about your dreams. Do you dream? Are they vivid? Do you speak to them? Because some of the ways that you've depicted yourself and others and reality are akin to certain people who I've heard described who have very different spiritual resonances than most individuals that I know. I'm thinking in particular of a carver, a Native American carver, who, according to one person, dreams in the tribal symbols of his people and their representations of that individual's ancestors, and that they literally speak to that person. I wonder if your version of feeling like you're a spirit in a human husk is weirder than usual. It might be, but I don't think it's that weird. Anyway, but some of it comes from how things have changed from when I was in high school. Long story short, reality came in like a wrecking ball and destroyed my understanding of the forces that be. Id est, I went from a life where all was well, no stress, to months-long panic attack and unending turbulence for the 2 years after graduation, ending with now loss of everything that it is always a day away for years, and every job I have had was me having no problems doing my part until bosses make issues exist. I am nearly 40, and since 90 I have felt I had zero agency in my life. False agency sometimes, but there is always a human involved somewhere in the process of life that could end everything on a whim, as far as I can tell. Ooh. Okay. Well, shit, dude. We just got to the root of it. To some extent, you've been in a cage for forever. And you're a monster. You don't put a monster in a cage. And I mean that in a positive way. You're a fucking beast, right? You've trained in martial arts. You've got the capacity to do various jobs and work. You've got a level of intelligence and articulation that allows you to express some degree about yourself. You say that you're emotionally calming toward the people around you, so you've got some things figured out. You're aligned in some way, and you've been in a box, man. Holy shit. Well, there's the problem. Who the fuck put you in a box, man? And I mean, really ask yourself that question. Who put you in one? Who dares? And if the answer, as I suspect that it is, at the root of the root of the root of the root, if the answer is that you put yourself in a box because you were told to, or because the workspace told you you had to, or because school told you you had to, or your parents told you you had to, or you finished graduation and people told you you had to go this way or that way, and you put yourself in the box because you believed them to fit into the box that would fit into the world. Oh shit, that's penguin drum, boyo. I'm sorry, that was condescending sounding. I'll leave it in, but that's penguin drum. Have you seen Mawaru penguin drum? That might help. Weird myth. A lot of boxes. Penguins too. Kids, dreams, fruit, flowers, guns. Weird shit, fractals, sex, love, trust, rabbits, penguins. Fucking penguin drum. Go enjoy. It's a cool thing either way. You might enjoy it. But if you find out at the root, if you find out at the root of the root of the root of the root that you're the one who put yourself in the box, then that, how dare anyone, needs to be turned inward as well. How dare I? Because no matter how old you are, you can fucking explode, man. And I mean explode out of the box with life. I think we just found the root of it. You're stuck. You think that other people have control over you. They don't. You can do whatever the fuck you want, bud. Get out there. Go start a gym. Go, whatever jobs you've been working, go make your own company to do those things better. Whatever it is that you're actually passionate about, make it fucking happen. I'll bet you have the skill. And I'll bet that the box is paper thin and made of fear. Crush it. Okay. Social/communication disabilities are not exactly easy to spot early or self-correct. Which is where my universal doubt comes into play. The logic is direct and straightforward and irrefutable. I am me and not anyone or anything else. What's true for others may never be true for me. I am not you or others, so when it comes to understanding, I may require a path to reach said understanding that is alien to all others, and until experiencing attempted translation of info, I won't know. I am me, not anyone else, right? I am not anyone else is the same in the what is true for others may not be true. When it comes to understanding, I may require a path to reach said understanding that is alien, and until I experience attempted translation of info, so someone attempting to legitimately communicate with you, you won't know. It's not that profound, but it is eternally annoying that I must fight my own being in order to reach equal footing with others at their normal. How can I be assured that any response is in fact true, and not a deception made to take advantage of my issues? I don't know what issues you actually have, Cody. You can't be assured that any response is in fact true and not some grand deception made to take advantage of you, and probably everyone is trying to take advantage of you. All you can do is be willing to be taken advantage of and see if you do. And sometimes you will be, and sometimes you won't be. Right? But it's worth it either way, right? It seems that way to me. It seems that way to me, that as long as I'm willing, the pain of being taken advantage of has become quite bearable. And avoidable, and I know why I should avoid it, because it does hurt. It's like, ow, fuck, I got betrayed again. Well, would you look at that? I guess I should stop putting my trust in people. How about no? How about I'm going to keep putting my trust in people, and people are, in some portion, going to keep betraying me, but by and large, on the broad scale, everybody that I've put trust in has opened up to me, become more trusting of me, become more connected and friendly, and I've found out various very interesting things from them. And I've shared things that I think are interesting with them, and they seem to have found them valuable. So it seems like that whole trust thing has been useful. And that trust thing is like leap of faith trust. Truly. Trust in self, trust in the other, belief that the people around you aren't lying to you. Despite the fact that they might be, even the probability that they might be, you treat them as though they aren't. And it can be shocking to them when you do that. When you take people as though you believe what they say. But it seems quite powerful, and it seems like the only way that I can be. How can I be assured that any response is in fact true and not a deception made to take advantage of my issues? Well, if somebody looks you in the eye and they dead serious tell you, I love you, man, I'm not trying to hurt you. Probably not trying to hurt you. And if they're going, they're probably in pain and you need to stop. But you already know that because you've fought, right? You know how to look somebody in the eye. You know how to gauge whether you can trust them. And you know that really great liars can lie to you anyway. But those are few and far between. Most people crumble, man. You can trust that. You can trust some degree of your own perception and your own ability to determine if you actually think they're lying. But it feels like you doubt it all so much that it holds you down. And so I'm glad to read the last line of this. Currently started seeking help because my Cody logic is aggravating to me trying to unravel why I am troubled. Yeah, it's really hard to see yourself. And it's impossible for anybody else to see you. But at least through interactions with other people, you can get a bit of a mirror, and then you can see little bits of yourself and be like, what the fuck is going on there? What the fuck is this thing? And you can start to bounce off of people and get some mirroring going. I look forward to hearing how that seeking help has gone for you. Whether you seek physical, psychological, psychiatric, or social therapeutic help is up to you. Maybe the help you need is in the dojo, man. Maybe the help you need is outside in the sun, teaching other people. I don't fucking know. Maybe the help you need is in a therapist chair, and maybe it's in a pill bottle. And maybe it's none of those places, and maybe it's only within you, and none of them can ever help you. But they might be willing to try, and they might not be lying when they do. And I'm not lying when I say that I'd like to help you too. It's arrogant to even think that I could, but I have faith in you, Cody, because you seem pretty strong. So, how can we get you to becoming the you that believes in you? Not my bro who believes in me. Not myself who believes in someone else. But the you who believes in you. How can we get you there? I don't know. But I look forward to you being along for this ride, because I'm on this ride for life. And so you being along for a little part of it, I'd be interested to see where you go. Because I think you could go cool places. What's stopping you? I don't know. But you might be able to figure it out. Good luck. Slay dragons. Falls Namae. Your comments on the world is bigger than I thought, and going out fighting the biggest fish in the ocean is certainly one perspective, but I am actually very much an adherent to a more mixed approach. Perpetual growth at the cost of anything and everything is certainly within human nature and human desires, no doubt. That would be your world's, my hypothetical world's, endpoint. Become ever bigger, fight ever stronger, experience ever more, grow and expand infinitely. Yeah, okay, no, that is my viewpoint. Yes, absolutely. Nom nom nom, give me all of it. Yes, I am a greedy bitch. Yum yum yum. But there is grace and serenity in soul stagnation. The biggest fish in a small pond, if not poached by a bear, will live quite a comfortable life. Not only that, it will also regulate the other fish, control for unsustainable existences. I think that's good analogously, and maybe not environmentally. But I don't know. The people who are the local legends that rarely seek more, content in where they are and how they're integrated into their communities. They provide measuring sticks to compare and contrast the newcomers and help that new growth find its own place. The Mushishi. They nurture through cooperation the growth of new talent, because you can't just hop up onto the shoulders of giants. Oh, and the teachers, right. There's lesser Goliaths that act as steps along the way to those lofty shoulders. Yes, absolutely there is grace and serenity in being a steward of the small ponds, as you say. Absolutely there is. That ain't me. I'm reaching for the fucking stars. So, that is a good path, and one that I have respect for. But it isn't mine. Mine is the heavens, baby. Whatcha? JoJo pose. Nokapara is a hostile example of this case, of course, the negative of both elements, which is why they need to be mixed. Going all in on one or the other causes more problems than having both working together. Nokapara is a gatekeeper, but he isn't resting on his laurels. He is actively expanding, and his behavior is actively stopping others from following in his path. He's not a big fish in a small pond. He's a pine tree sapping that, no. Nope, pine tree sapping the resources for his own growth, acidifying soil to ensure no new growth might challenge him. I don't like that analogy at all. Because that isn't what I think Nokopara is doing. I think there's too much trying to make it all fit the analogy. I don't think they need to be mixed. I do think you need to be a steward of the environment around you, and you should help others as you can, but you help them by getting them on your ship and pointing, saying, we're all pointed this way, man. Everybody that way. That way. Up. Only up. It's the only way we can go. Fuck the little pond. Fuck it. It's nice. Very pretty little pond. Later, I'm going up. And good luck with that family thing you note briefly at the end. Thank you. Hope everyone is having a good day. Yeah, I really am. Otro random de internet. The first chunk of this is explaining that this person has also been told that they are intelligent. And then right here we get to the meat of it. This is only an example, but the point of it is true that I have a talent, but I don't feel like I am using it well. I made little to no effort, and I get away with it. It frustrates me, but today I went to the psychologist, and he told me being lucky is also a skill. It means you can know when to act when you see the opportunity. I think I am going to hold on to that phrase. Also, this one. Motivation is not the same as your emotional state, meaning that even if what you need to do doesn't make you happy, you still need to do it. Like Rudy that hasn't left his room in his other life full circle. Perdón por inglés tan roto. Sorry for the broken English. That's entirely okay. I think I was able to parse it. Okay. There is nothing more common. Is nothing so common. Little quotey quote that I'm going to throw at you because it's a useful one. Nothing in this world can take the place of persistence. Talent will not. Nothing is more common than unsuccessful men with talent. Genius will not. Unrewarded genius is almost a proverb. Education will not. The world is full of educated derelicts. Fuck off. Persistence and determination alone are omnipotent. The slogan, press on, has solved and always will solve the problems of the human race. Calvin Coolidge. President number something or other. 30. Determination. Little to no effort, and I get away with it despite your genius. Yeah, you and many others. Start working. It's gonna be hard. You need two powerful skills. One of them is to be able to move when you don't want to move, and the other is to be able to stop when you want to keep going. Those are your two powerful skills. Those skills are the ability to step into difficult situations when you want nothing more than to lay down, and the other one is the ability to slow down and calm down and rest when things are out of control. If you master those two, you will master yourself. Good luck. And many more supporting comments. Thank you for those. Onward. Alright, welcome back. We're done with Comment Spotlight. We're all synced up in terms of audio tracks and video tracks and stuff, and we're just going to do it. We're going to go for Mushoku Tensei episode 19, route selection. I'm also going to incorporate this additional camera. I'm recording it separately at the moment, so I don't know where I'm going to put it or where or how it's going to be. Give me comments and feedback about it, please. Thank you. Let's watch episode 19. Before we do, quick shills. Patreon's the only way that I make money. There are no ads, no sponsorships, no shilling other than this one. No paywall, no bullshit, no early access, no nothing. Just free content, me to you, as good as I can make it. If you appreciate it, please support it. It's the only way that I make enough money to survive, and so manipulation or otherwise, this is the truth, and so I ask you for your help. Thank you. Let's watch Mushoku Tensei episode 19. I've got it up and ready to go. There will be two versions, picture-in-picture, in the description, timer on YouTube, beep-beep timer to count you down. Into the episode we go. Are we in? We're here again. How did we get here? Brighter than before. Thanks to me. Was it really me? Yeah. What room? Yeah, you can always go back. But how did we get here? Ah, really a full face there. Now you ask something of God. Yeah. That's a lot. Fucking asshole. What? Yeah, what are you about to ask? Uh-oh. Yeah. Yes, but that's exactly what somebody who was trying to manipulate me would say. I'll consider it. That'll do. So no full deal. Wow, he wormed his way out of it. With strings. Aisha? Whoa, what? Really more? Eh? Fucking Hitogami, how did that even what? So it wasn't just when we're teleporting, it's any time? He could just do that at any time? He could just invade your brain? Woof. What the truck? You will stumble across the scene, and then I missed parts of it. I was looking right at it, and it was still just, I couldn't. It was too many things. It's like, you're gonna meet this girl. It's Aisha. It's actually Aisha. Whoa. Avatar The Last Airbender suddenly? How are we ended up in Republic City? What the fuck? That's awesome. First steps onto this land, eh, Rudyard? Or at least in a long time. The infant who sets the forest ablaze. In exchange for his power. Yum. He will never feel love's touch. Yikes. Num nums. Oh, they messed that up slightly. Because it's the layers. Arigato gozaimasu. Gratitude. Real gratitude. Oh, and rice. Gohan. That's why he says it. It's because it's back to rice. And he had mentioned it before. And we are in rice paddy territory. Okay, so we approach a new set of walls, a new set of gates. Wow, very Earth Kingdom. Oh, olifants. Look, they have olifants. And everybody's human. On guard for the situation to occur. Wow, great. Cool water. Just the way that everything is built. A very cool city. Rudy. Holy, hello. Uh-huh. Half. The other one. Oh. Uh-huh. I would be grateful. Shikata nai, eh? That's it? Thanks. Thanks, Eris. Again, with the gratitude again. Thank Hitogami. You might want to tell people. People might know about him. What if people know about his ass? And people are just like, oh, that guy? Yeah, we know about him. He's a fucking the worst. Oh. 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 Just by immediately? It's already found you. It's already found you. I really like that cycle. It's almost Monogatari-esque. She's chasing you, dude. We're gonna just play this out? Okay. That's a great run cycle from her, by the way those skirts fly. Hey. Wait a second, is somebody following me? Who could it be? He's already on the path. He doesn't even know that he's on the path. Even with foresight. These scenes are great. That was a great scene, too. Oh? Wait, isn't this the space? You caused it. Hi, Aisha. Sup? I was just hiding behind this wall. I believe you, actually. I believe you. Fuck. Yeah. Oh, okay. You're just gonna like wave us off like that? Shit. Well, here we go. Oh no. Shit. You're in the city of brass and they just called the guards. Do you know how many guards there are in a city like this? Oh my god, Rudy. Oh my god, Rudy. Fully sunk into the dirt. He's out, man. But they know who he is. Okay, so what if she's actually doing fine here and isn't threatened or being accosted by soldiers or... Splain. And a perfect little lady. Perfect little lady. Super cute, too. You can't say your real name. Shit, why not? Who's that voice actress, too? Wow. Okay, so there is a problem. Not there. Because my mom said he's a pervert. Eat this, yo. Saw. Got him. Oh, choto. Oh, kokai. A horrible, horrible, shameless monster. Ah, Soka. She came to the conclusion all herself, too. Just destroyed. Just destroyed. No shadow night is me. I am Teto Endo. Ah. Same scene. Same frame, actually. So genuine. It's just awful. Okay, then. Oh. You're out of your gourd, bro. She's just fine. Yeah, how long is that gonna last? You gotta just come out with that. Okay. Little too tricksy. Oh, do you? Oh. Boo. You know exactly why. Can we do some research? Could we do some research? Yeah, Roxy lives there, but of course she's out traveling. Darn, I was waiting to go storm. I was really wanting to go storm that castle. Fuck. I haven't stormed a castle in ages. It's been forever. Fuck. I love Richard. I love these characters. I can't deny it. Very cute, very cute, very cute. Hello. Good morning. freckles. Bro, it's like... I like Ginger York. Uh-huh. Shisha. I wonder if she's actually here. What? This episode's called Route. Ooh. Ah, fine. See, you shouldn't be worried about it anyway. She's gonna find out eventually, man. Yeah, exactly. Come on, man. You gotta be able to wear your name. Okay, here we go. Which means that you're all prepped. They're all prepped, man. Oh, is that prince? Then he might have a massive grudge. You're walking into a full trap, dude. You're putting your neck on the guillotine. Oh shit, I am not trusting this at all. Yeah. Cool patterns. Ah. Bro. Hi. Sorry. Sorry about this. Is this about to be a duel? Is he about to try to duel Rudius? Wait. Really? He captured the... Really? Because he's that resentful of the guy that his own master talked about? Right, this is the guy I've heard so much about. This is him. Oh, he thinks it's her husband or something. Yeah, no. Wow. Straight into a pit. Great. Great. No, perfect. A fully new prison. If this helps reunite you with your family. Oh, straight onto a sigil. The guillotine. Careful, 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 careful. Oh, just like the magic beast. A carefully constructed trap up and a permanent one. And magic nullifying. What a name. Uh-huh. Yep, I understand. No, no, this won't work. This guy's vindictive. She's not here. Wow. Hmm. Hey? Oh, I wish, bro. Chigologo. Oh, it's funny. They're kind of both thinking that. Right, playing dumb. He's not gonna believe. Doesn't care. Oh, so what are you gonna do with Lilia? Hmm. How are you spreading your intel, bro? Wait, my perfect plan, though. Uh, uh, yeah, we're fucked. Do we have to rely on Eris and Rudyard? And it's threats all the way down. We get out of this by convincing Ginger York. That's why she's characterized. Yes, you did. Correct. And you've reunited with your family. You're just fucked. You got everything you were promised, dude. You got everything you were promised. What are you talking about? You got exactly what you asked for. You just got a bunch of other things that you didn't want. Like being trapped in a fucking cage. The Birth of My Little Sister the Maid. That's an interesting title for the next episode. Okay. We end in a very interesting place. We end with Rudius in a pit. There's something deep and powerful about character falling into a pit at the whims of someone evil, who doesn't want to kill you necessarily. They want to do much worse, and that is to make your suffering as prolonged and specific and tailored to you as they possibly can. And this first step of that is isolation. It's actually really interesting because we just had Jolene end up in a pit as well, in kind of precisely the same sort of a way, right? That we end up there in the solitary ward in the prison. And Jolene's response to that was, the one thing that I can't do is to let this break me. I have to eat and remain strong, and no, I will use this and I will grow stronger. And that's exactly right. Your attitude toward confinement or restriction or restraint is what defines your relationship to it and how you exist within it. This has been ideated a number of times very effectively. One very effective ideation of character in a pit is Batman. Specifically, Nolan's Batman. Which one? Is that Dark Knight Rises? I don't know. Batman with a big hole. Big plot holes. Climbs out of the pit. The Dark Knight Rises. Bruce climbs out of the pit. Because the pit is exactly that, right? It's like it's an enormous pit that you could never escape from. And there are a bunch of people stuck there. And you have to take a couple of different powerful leaps of faith in order to make your way out. That's pretty good. The Lightbringer Saga by Brent Weeks. Interestingly, both of Brent Weeks' major saga books, the other one is Night Angel Trilogy, Lightbringer plus Night Angel. Both of those contain sequences where the main characters or various primary characters end up in a dark place of solitary confinement. In Night Angel, it's not solitary confinement. It's literally an oubliette. It's a big pit in the ground where you throw a bunch of prisoners and they fight and kill each other. And it's not good. It's the shit, and they're literally living in shit. And our main character survives through that with grit and by becoming a part monster. And in Lightbringer, multiple characters are imprisoned in cells of different colored luxin, and in their imprisonment find insanity and also truth, because imprisonment at the hands of someone who truly means you harm can lead you to insanity, and imprisonment itself, lack of socialization, can lead to insanity, but also to truth. Now there's something interesting about our particular character here. Rudius has been alone before. This can't hurt him. He's lived it. He did it to himself. He knows this pain. Easy. No problem. But can he survive? Can he find a way out? Can he remain motivated? Because being stuck in the pit is being stuck. And when Rudy was in this state before, he was stuck. But he's not that person anymore. So what we'll have to see is whether he can accomplish that sort of a Jolene style, no, this will become my strength sort of feeling. Let me go to the TV tropes page for The Dark Knight Rises. Hellhole prison seems to be the best trope. But also the Alcatraz or the tailor-made prison. I wonder what other examples of that there might be in media. Let me know if you can think of any off the top of your head. Any resonant stories that you've read or heard where a character gets dropped into a pit by something evil in order to try to break him. Because that's what Pax, Peace, Shirone, funny, is going for. Pretty cool place to end here. There are some things we have to cover. Oh my god, all this shit. Really, so, are you sure you want to blame me for everything? And we get this moment of grimacing from Rudy. Because of course you can't. But he's his old self, and he has to reevaluate himself. You know? When he's here, he has to look at himself, and the self that he was and the self that he is. And he goes through that sort of forced cringing. If you'd given me better advice, I wouldn't have this or that or this or that. Oh, are you sure you want to blame me for everything? So. I have turned over a new leaf. I have. I'm sure of it. I know I've changed. Fuck, thank you. I'm grateful. Now spit it out. What's your next hint? And in the asking of that question, we get the full face, which we don't normally get. Awful looking as it is. But he says, I only want one piece of advice. I don't want any stupid hints. I want to know where my family is. And so then we get face to face with the devil, with Hitogami, whatever he is. And Rudy asks him the question specifically and faces him. We joke back and forth about the other world. No, you know who I mean. You know exactly what I want. And he goes, oh, let me think about it, because he's a dick. And then he admits that was over the line and requests a promise in return. And we wiggle our way out of it. What's the promise? The next hint if the next hint I give you helps you reunite with your family, then I want you to trust me next time. And Rudy immediately hits on the problem. Oh, so I can just become your little puppet? you know, you want to just force me to do whatever you want? And he goes, no, that's not what I'm asking for. Just please trust me next time, because this hostility is so tiring. And he goes, well, it would be exhausting regardless. I don't like being here. You drag me into a place of pain every time we experience this. I don't enjoy it. Why do you make this happen? And he's sort of glittering away in dust. I don't know. You shove it in my face and make me all depressed. And all we get from Hitogami is, I wonder if Hitogami is really in control of the way Rudy appears when he's here. I don't know. Maybe it's more to do with Rudy than that. It's also another way of framing it as Hitogami is actually in some reflections and shadows an aspect of Rudius's conscience. Because your conscience sees you as you. By the way, Hitogami is still Rudius's conscience. I haven't given up on that. It's still true, even though it's not. It's still metaphorically 100% true. Why does he see himself as himself when he's here? Because that's how your conscience works. Because that's what has been written into the story to make it effective and resonant. Why do you give me all these hints about useful things, but then you also make me feel like shit about who I am and who I've been, even though I've changed? It's like, yeah, but you haven't completely changed, have you? Oh, shit. Fuck, you got me. Well, if you give me good advice this time, I'll consider it. Fine, good enough. And he says, you'll trust me. We get this flicker. It depends on what comes next. Okay, got it. That'll do. Well, fair enough. And allow me to offer you my advice. And this time it's a little different. Listen well. You're going to see this girl. Her name is Aisha. Wait, you mean the Aisha? Yeah, the Aisha. What else? You will stumble upon the scene you're seeing now. Huh, hang on, what? What? Wait, what? Yeah, just a flood of hints, right? Whoa. But you must not tell her your real name. It's really important. Otherwise, things won't play out effectively. Use an alias and get her to explain her situation. Then send a letter to someone you know in Shirone's royal palace. If you do this, what does he say? Wait, why would I send a... Because you would. Do so, and you shall succeed in rescuing both Lilia and Aisha from the palace of Shirone. You will succeed. Rone. Huh? Lilia too? How? They should have been found by... Boom. Nausea, and you're awake. So all you get are the vague hints. Except that they're not very vague, they're quite specific. And now fate is set, it seems. He wakes and he lies. The opening sequence as we move through here is spectacular. I really like the somber tones of the song, and also the return to traditional instruments like Japanese and Chinese instruments. Makes it really feel like a different cultural entity and a different space. All the buildings are different, all the boats are different, all the way that everything looks is different. The color of everything is different because we're in a different climate and the sun is at a different angle, and the whole feel of everything is completely different as well. The stones and cobbles are entirely different from anywhere else that we've been. And the feeling of the space as Ruijerd steps out and sniffs the air, that actually gives us more of that feeling because we've been taking it in too. And so it's quite a piece of animation and environmental atmosphere building, a la Mushishi, my favorite piece of atmospheric generating work, to generate the atmosphere of this novel city, this new space that we've entered. It's quite good. So we travel, and there is Gohan, rice, in a form not unlike an onigiri, and he stares at it, and there, you should have some too, it's tasty. And he says, arigatou gozaimasu. Right? Arigatou gozaimasu. But with like, I never thought I would care about rice, but man, I really care about this rice right now. And he takes the bite and he's quite pleased by it. Now, I hate to be that sort of an asshole, but there was one frame that was off in the bite. Wait, what? Maybe there wasn't. Huh, it just looks weird. I swear there was a frame where they put the piece that was missing on top, But I guess I'm wrong. Good job. Cool. It's hard anyway because with the shiny elements of these things, it's a totally separate layer that they've had to add in. And so it's working in two different fields. And speaking of fields, familiar rice paddies. Things that to a Japanese mind will immediately read as home, right? Familiar places in rural Japan. Bam, the city. We arrive at the big gates, classical sculptures. I don't exactly know what these are. As these two sculptures. I mean, they're multi-fanged. I think they're monkeys, but of course it's actually a representation of rulership and guardianship, so it's multi-layered. What they're meant to be specifically, or what cultural icons they're exactly referencing, I don't know. And if somebody more knowledgeable than me would mention what they might be in the comments, I would greatly appreciate it. Big gate. Tiny porthole. Gives this feeling of authority and structure. Very Ba Sing Se. The Earth Kingdom city. There are no a lot of things in Ba Sing Se, and there are a lot of lies in Ba Sing Se, and that's the feeling that I get from this city immediately. So, unfortunately, Avatar: The Last Airbender has given me that, and so big city that we enter, I'm immediately suspicious. But I shouldn't be. The city itself is not so suspicious. The rulership, however, slightly different story. And we freeze on a gorgeous photo of Eris's eyes as she looks around and spies all sorts of things, and this guy's just going, wow, what the fuck? I like that little cute interaction. That's cute. I missed it on the first time through. Whoa, what's that? Whoa, what's that? I really like that as well, really guiding our eyes around as Eris is experiencing all these new things as well. Wow, so this is the capital. Indeed. And Rudy is looking around too, but he's not taking in the sights at all. He's worried. Because he asked Hitogami for assistance and he's waiting for the thing to happen. And he isn't taking it in at all. So, he told me to write to someone I know. Somehow that'll save them. Why haven't they been saved already? We look out over the city, and he's kind of ignoring Eris. Wait, your master lives here. Wait, why are you ignoring me? Wait, blah, blah, blah is happening. And he tells them maybe my members of my family are imprisoned, and explains about his family dynamic. And when he says, I have two sisters, she goes, oh, because I think she gets it immediately, is like, oh, so Paul be doing the thing. And yeah. And he frames this very well. I would be grateful if you two would be willing to help me gather information. And she goes, well, yeah, of course. She got an eye, right? Guess I have to. Nothing I can do about it. Oh, well. I like that a lot, because I think it's correct. When you ask for things that you really need, sometimes people are really willing to give them to you. Especially if you ask kindly. I would be grateful if you would do this thing for me. Sure, why not? Thank you very much. That's correct. Thank God they didn't ask about the info. Scribble, scribble, scribble. I've got a feeling I should be careful who I tell about him, Hitogami, and I think you're right, but there are some people you should definitely talk to about him so that you can get some information on him and know that probably people have information on who he is. Please deliver this letter to the royal palace. That should do it. And then, moving past, we see the character with her letter. Why does she follow him? It's unclear. It's unclear why she follows him. She makes the decision to, though. Maybe she's just walking in the same direction, actually. It might just be a coincidence. Regardless, I really like this scene. I like a number of things in this scene. We get this one going through here. This reminds me something about the color palette and the coloration on him reminds me of the coloration on Araragi and Kizumonogatari specifically. Weird, right? Kizumonogatari specifically, it has to do with the color and the texture and the precise vibe of the hair. Maybe it's not Araragi, it's actually Shinobu that I'm thinking of, the way that Shinobu is colored in Kizu. In scenes like this one, with the hair color and the pattern and stuff, or even here, Something about that clicks the same thing. Maybe it's the patterns, maybe it's the shading of him, I don't know. Maybe it's just the saturation level? I don't know. Anyway, I should search this huge city. Wow, that sounds like hard. And then this scene is just as much the same. It tickles something in my brain. I don't know. Why were they arresting her? How weird. And he walks on, and he catches that there's something going on. And I just want to point out, I really like her walk cycle. This walk cycle is fine and fun, and then we match them together, literally matched frames. Dot, 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 dot. I think when he steps down, centered, yep, dot. And then dot, 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 dot. Stop. Great little expressions with the way the eyes sink in. Oh well. And he's certain there's something off. Great use of light. Great movement through all these light and shadow. And then the moment when he starts to take off running is an exceptional cut. I also think this cut where he's walking across, just the way that it's put together makes it very smooth and very good. And move over to here. Dun, 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 dun. And it's this buildup of rhythmic tension as we move through this set of scenes that eventually does build. And it builds to Rudy deciding to run. Dun, 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 run. And as he runs, we do this nice pan across through the eyes. Bring his eyes into focus and pull across them. Very cool. And straight down the hallway. And down and stop and click and voomp. Very Full Metal Alchemist. And not in a bad way at all. It just needs a clap and a bam. And that's exactly right. And he stops and wait a second. This is the space. We get the revelation. We drop the wall. We figure out that this is what it is. Listen, son, believe it or not, we're soldiers from the palace garrison. And child is obviously crying. There's only a letter. Why would you take a letter from a lost child? And his response is, well, adult things are complicated, kid. Whoa. The worst response. And she breaks free and goes, please save me, she says. And what are you gonna do, say no? And so Rudy clicks into Rudy and he goes, you got it, girl. No prob. Hop on board. Click, you're down. Could you be? And they know about him already because they've been warned. And now all the guards are after you. But of course, Rudy is Rudy is Rudy is Rudy. And so as they all come in, Rudy gathers her up, makes this incredible semi-CG, I think. Pow. Yeah, it is semi-CG. Pillar of launch, and sends them off flying into the ether. Very fun. We meet the girl, and she's fantastic. And it's at this point that I have to look up her voice actress, because she's fantastic. Who the fuck is that, and where have I heard her before? And if I haven't heard her before, I'm going to be surprised. Yuki Takada. She is Elma from Kobayashi. She is Aoba from New Game. Rin from Buso Shoujo Machiavellianism. Lesar from Majutsu no Index 3. Rei Onodera from Kaguya-sama wa Kuroketsukai Kokurasetai. Fuck. Cool. She's great. Super chipper. And her sincerity as a character comes through in spades. And it makes what comes next hurt even more. So, my name is Shadow Moon Knight. And the way that she responds with... And it's completely genuine. And he just is... Very cute. And when I say very cute, I don't mean her. I mean the whole framing of the thing. Pop, 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 pop. Extraordinarily well timed, well put together. Very cute from her. And then the way that this musical cue... Kakkoi desu. Dee-da-doo, dee-da-doo. The cutie musical cue. Exceptional. Please make a request. Rescue my mother from the castle. I would like to send my father a letter. And he goes, okay, she's grown into a clever girl. You need money to send a letter. And he's still treating her with condescension and childishness. And what she says is so cute. She taught me that if a little girl begs sweetly to send her father a letter, the universe will take care of the rest, basically. Other people will take care of the rest. Oh, Ara Lilia. The people in the castle won't let me. Don't you have anyone else you could count on, like your brother? And she goes, not my brother, absolutely. Or maybe a nice lady that your mother knows? Nope. Or maybe an older brother? And her answer is, I do have a brother, but there's no way I can count on him. And he's like, what the fuck are you talking about? And of course, it all comes back around. Nobody gets away with anything. Ever. You never get away with anything. It always fucking comes back to bite you. Every sin you've ever had, everything you've ever coveted, it's gonna come back to bite you, man. And in this case, those pantsu, cherished, worshipped, so brilliant and white, they really fuck things up for him. And that's exactly correct. Your sexual desires, ineffectively expressed and poorly articulated, can harm and affect your relationships with the people that you most care about. And that's correct. It's very funnily executed here. The build of the revelation that's why he's like, hey, through the wall. And the faces that we get from Rudius as he lies his way through. Oh, so... I understand it. At age 405. Pansudes. A girl of about 14. Calculations, isn't she too smart? She's catching me. She really toasts him. But that could be a misunderstanding, couldn't it? No, I got my mother to verify it. My brother spied on that lady in the bath, and on my father and his wife in bed, and on... It seems my mother is trying to hide it, but I am certain he is undeniably hentai. And of course that double triple hurts, because hentai is what Rudy has thought of himself as for forever. And so we get him crushed into the corner of the screen, just in terms of framing. She's way above him. This is basically Kill la Kill framing. So let me find you a thing, just really quick to put a linkage down. I wonder. I guess I'll do Kill la Kill yelling, like this from Gamaguri. Or in this scene from episode 2, we've got the character all big and our character really crushed into this side of the frame. But actually, this is the point where Ryuko is beginning to overcome her. So as she says some stuff, Ryuko is growing in frame and this character is shrinking, and they're becoming more evenized head to head. And then of course that turns into the explosion of tension. More even, bam. Explosion of tension. And so that's the interplay between the characters. And of course we have some fun jokes about that stretch around the thing being the same as the stretch that's happening to... Okay, whatever. We're not here to talk about Kill la Kill. I just wanted to show off that idea in the sort of crushedness of the character, and the framing of size is being represented here quite effectively as well. And it's the same frame. Wait for it. That's the same frame. Right? But Rudy isn't growing in comparison, and so when Lilia says it all, I see, your brother is a pervert. Ha 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 ha. Taihen desu ne. It's the fucking funniest. So dead in the eyes. So expressive, so good. So anyway, what's your real name? And he lies again, and she's just pure earnestness. Fine, I'm gonna go save your mom, and off he goes. And they go, all right, cool, we trust you, you can totally do this. And he tells them not to call him Rudius, not to call him by his name. It's a darn shame to do that. But of course, you can see why he's doing it. But it's not the way to go. You don't understand why. This is very cute from Eris. Very heartfelt. And Rudy sees it. He goes, Eris. And then he immediately goes into old him to some extent, right? It's like at the beginning when he ends up in Manga, and he's like, man, why do you bring me out here and show me who I used to be? I've changed. And it's like, yeah, you've changed a lot, man. But that guy's still inside you, isn't he? I wonder if one day down the line of the show, we'll appear in Hitogami's location and it will be Rudius's real body. That would be an interesting, changing, culminating point for the show, wouldn't it? And he goes, and she calls it out. Why do you fuck it up every time? Fine, so let's go. And he goes, no, let's just wait. And in the meantime, the waiting pays off. Would you be Lord Rudius? And she's cute, I think. She's like Saber. Basically, that's Saber. I am a member of Shirone's Royal Guard. I am Ginger York. By the way, that's also a full character design, and so I expect that making Ginger's acquaintance is going to be more than important. But Ginger seems like the major domo. A member of the Royal Guard, at the very least. Please accompany to the palace. And what's so funny is that they just ask him to, and they kind of have him figured out. He's a little too trusting. And that's something that harkens back to what we were talking about in Cody Tiffany's comments to some extent. A little too trusting, a little bit not enough doubt, and also blinded by the joy of being able to see Roxy again and all these other things. But Rudy really fucks himself. Oh, I'm getting ready to go. I'm getting all my stuff together. And they're all like, wow, you're being really serious about this. You're going to introduce me, right? Will you be all right alone? Of course. All right. And she says, Rudius, and he's more worried about that than he is worried about his own safety. And so, from the light of above, we descend into the darkness down below, through smaller and smaller places, gates and gates, doors and doors, and it's very much giving us the feeling of a trap swinging shut. Everything is honed down and in toward our characters, crushing them down and even further. Right? Literally what we do in this scene is we bring our characters down into one point, into a vanishing point that they're going toward, and then we bring them through the gate, and at this point there's no return. The trap has already been set. Now he could flee from here, but they flatter him over and over, and he eats it right up. And we walk right up to the front door. I guess I'll just go this way. No problem. And here it becomes quite clear. More and more confined in our space, more and more locked in. We move forward, and then the bars start appearing all around you, and now you're in an actual cage. He walks into the cage, and now you're in the cage. Thank you for your service, they say. Hey, wait a second, you're those two guys from earlier. Hey, may I have your wizard implements, please? Oh, of course. No sweat. And they both sit there, and they're like, no fucking way this is gonna work. The kid's giving over his stick. And he gives over his stick. I have Lord Rudius, and we get enter, and it's a different voice. Don't tell me. And he thinks it's Roxy's man, right? It's where his mind immediately goes. And so we enter the scene, we find out exactly who it is and why we're here. And he steps right into the middle of the trap. I didn't notice it. So this is Rudius, and we begin to find out resentment lives and seethes inside this person. He's heard so much about the great Rudy, and as an evil twerp, he can't understand why Roxy doesn't care about him so much. And so he must pick apart this man called Rudy and discover what it is that lies at his bloody core that makes Roxy care about him so much. And of course, he'll never figure it out because he's a psychopath to some extent, and he doesn't care about people. He wants to use them, and he says as much. He wants to rape and kill Roxy and Rudy and use her as a sex slave forever because he's a true monster. And that's a little over the top, you might say. I don't think it's that over the top. You look back at some of the princes and kings of history, people who really had unlimited power. Yeah. Rape and take is not too far off. All you need is a little seed of inability to empathize, a little sociopathy, a little psychopathy. You can go right there. You don't even need it, maybe. It might be that you don't even need to be different. You just need to have the opportunity and the desire, and not enough discipline and training and effective alignment with reality. And that's exactly the kind of thing that you get when you're royal and everybody bows to you. It'll eat your soul away. And so we walk in on a man without a soul who points at our main character and says, "You suck, bro. I'm going to take your girl and I'm going to fuck her in front of you. And then I'm going to cut your head off and I'm going to do it again." So now we know who we're dealing with. So this is Rudius. And he goes, "Is this walking barrel Roxy's?" And only then does he notice Lilia's here. Wait a second, what the fuck? What's going on? Drop him. Send him sinking into the abyss. And he does. So down here we get, and we discover that we are on a sigil as well. Locked in, no magic, stuck. Ha ha ha, I am Pax, peace. An odd name, and a perfect one. So, this is a trap, okay. Please call Roxy. He thinks that, okay, this is fine, no problem. I can get this solved. No. You've walked into the devil's mouth, buddy, and he's hungry. And you taste good. And he doesn't give a fuck about your cries for help. And he's too stupid, actually, to do this effectively, which is the worst part. Pax is so ignorant and idiotic and so doted upon and so spoiled, I assume, that he thinks that he's a genius when he's a fool. And so his whole stupid plan to get Roxy here won't even work because he's not even going to spread the news. Rudy fell into this trap by accident. I never expected Roxy's lover to visit Sharona, and he goes, "Huh? Are you talking about me? Huh? Aren't you?" And then we get this voice. That's Rudy voice. But we hold on his face. Why? Because he's having the exact same thought. Because Pax is saying, "Oh, thank goodness, I haven't been cuckolded by this creep." As Rudy realizes it, "Wait, are you talking about me? I'm Roxy's lover?" "Wait, you aren't?" We hold on his face as if we were inside his head. Thank God. You're still the same Earthius on the inside. This guy is a foil of you. He's what you could have been, bud. Right? If all your desires and whims were fostered and taken care of and doted upon because you were special, where could you be? And so Rudy starts to tell the truth, but he's doing it in a sort of a sniveling way, trying to be like, "No, I'm nobody, man. You don't want me at all. I'm not useful to you. You don't need to hurt me." And he goes, "Fuck it. I don't care. Lilia wasn't good enough bait, so you'll make the perfect bait." And we're like, oh. And then he goes into the sex. "I'll keep her as my personal sex slave. I'll make her bear me 5 heirs. And Rudy stops him. "Hold on. Oh, and then he can't even stop himself. "I'll rape her right in front of you the first time, then I'll lop off your head and rape her again as despair fills her face." And you go, how disgusting. No one would ever. Oh. Are you not capable of great violence in your heart? And are you not capable of great lust? What if you let those sins mingle together and mix and swirl and stew with resentment? And then you couple them to power and a bunch of people who will actually do what you tell them and go and capture people for you. And will say things like, well, adults' lives are complicated, so I have to. As you, of course, threaten their families. Yeah, Pax is a real person. Seems like a facsimile of evil, and people are gonna criticize this part of the story for that, and I'm sure that they do in droves. It's like, how? Come on, nobody's that evil. Bullshit. Bullshit. Nobody's that evil. Half the people you know, given given means and opportunity, would do horrible things. And Fruity's like, wait a sec, I didn't hear anything about this. Huh? Idiot. Ah, she's smart. No, seriously. You turned up, didn't you? My plan is working perfectly. Your incantationless magic was no match for my authority. Oh, I can't wait. I just can't wait. And we close Rudy in. Need we pursue her further? Yes, find her. Don't you care what happens to your family? The threats and the evil. Damn it, you're all completely useless. I'm surrounded by assholes. And Rudy goes through it. So I met Aisha. I did all the things. I sent the fake name. I sent the letter. And I haven't saved my family yet. And I'm stuck here. But I did all the things. Why isn't it just dropped in my lap yet? Well, it has, hasn't it? You asked to be reunited with your family? Here they are. They're in peril. There's a grand myth, 2 grand myths that are the same myth that are about this. One of them is Jonah being swallowed by the whale, which is you get sucked into somewhere you don't want to go, you really don't want to be, if you don't go to the place where you're supposed to go. The other one is Pinocchio and the whale, which is that you ask to be reunited with your family, and you somehow get swallowed by this horrible monstrosity and taken to the last place you want to go, and oddly you find your family is right there. Because that's where Geppetto is right inside the whale. And so you actually get exactly what you asked for, but you curse the heavens and go, but why'd I have to get swallowed by a whale then? Why couldn't it just be a fun reunion? Well, because the best things in life come in challenging packages, maybe? Certainly for Rudy, that seems to be the case. And so here... Hold on, have I been played? Well... Yes and no. It seems like you've been gifted the perfect opportunity in multiple ways, and also a way to figure out your relationship with the rulership of the Shirone Kingdom, which should be pretty interesting. But everything that Rudy asked for is right in front of him. There's Lilia. Aisha's already mostly free. You just have to make sure that she stays that way. She's with Eris and Ruijerd, which means she's pretty safe, because they're pretty strong. Unless this little 7th fucking princeling is capable of calling upon one of the like 5, 6, 7, 10, however many most powerful people on the planet. I think Eris and Ruijerd can handle most threats, right? It's one of the benefits of traveling with a multi-100-year-old spurred warrior. It's like, okay, we're probably safe at home. That's good. He's got to save Lilia. She's in a pretty dire strait. She's trapped and confined and caged by a monstrous pervert who might try to rape her. But I think he knows that he'll do more harm if he doesn't. Oh, Flux just turned on and everything goes dark. Regardless, Lily is in dire straits, and so is Rudy, and he's entered this pit, and pits are a place where character development internally happens, and prisons, we've had that before as well. But the last prison Rudy was in, he wasn't forced to develop too much. He just sort of sat there and waited. And he met Geese, right? And that became something quite effective, but he sort of just sat there and waited. This prison might be different. This is a pretty well-executed plan. Despite Pax's obvious burgeoning stupidity, this is a pretty effective plan for capturing Rudius and causing him great distress. And so, I'm going to let Rudy sit in jail for a week, in my mind. And as he does, I'm going to think about that process and about confinement and about isolation and about what all the options might be. Because that's a fun puzzle. And I doubt that I'll get any answers out of it, and that's not really the point. But it's also funny to me that I've got two characters now who are in solitary confinement, and I don't know what's going to happen next in either of their stories. And that feels just right. Feels just right. So, we find everything that we wanted, great revelations, and we find ourselves stuck in a fucking pit and we have to work our way out, or hope that somebody else comes and saves us. Cool place to leave off. And leave off we shall. I'm exhausted. This has been a successful day, I think. I think this video was successful. A little rambly, perhaps. Tangentially weird, for sure. But effective. And that proves something, doesn't it? And I hate that it proves this. But what it proves is that I can record any time of day or night, regardless of how I'm doing. And so my excuses are paper thin. And they're made of fear. So I guess I gotta burst through them. I guess I got to. That fucking sucks. It fucking sucks not letting yourself be weak. I hate it. It's hard. I'm gonna make myself love it. Thanks for coming and watching. I appreciate your time and attention immensely. If you appreciate the time and attention that I put into this piece of work, you can show that support in a number of ways. Most effectively, you can go to the Patreon linked in the description and give me $1 and come and join the Discord and vote in future polls. If you'd like to give more than that, I would welcome it. Second most effectively, you can like the video and drop a comment and maybe subscribe to the channel. These things do a lot to help the YouTube algorithms get my videos out to more people, and the more people who see my videos and enjoy them, hopefully, the more people might decide to support me financially as well. So even if you can't or don't want to do that, you can absolutely support the channel by dropping a comment. And a whole bunch of you did when I asked you to, and I really appreciate it. So here I'm going to ask a little bit more than that, which is, if you drop a comment, please don't just drop a comment that says, I'm dropping a comment. Please say, I'm dropping a comment. I liked this about the episode. I like this about the reaction. I don't like this about the way that you did things. One thing about something that might be useful. That along with it, that would turn into like 30, 40 of you commented that way. So maybe 30 or 40 interesting comments that might have some real meat to them. That would be awesome. So support the channel on Patreon. Like and subscribe. Yada yada. Drop a comment. And come join the other channel, T Talks Too Much, where I stream daily every day at 10 a.m. Probably tomorrow it'll be more like 11 because I'm going to sleep in probably because it's already midnight and I have more things to do before I can actually go to bed. But come join the stream. Come join the Patreon. Come join the Discord. Come be a part of this thing. Because I'm building this big-ass mecha. And it's like, not just a mecha. It's a mecha that's also a ship. That's also a spaceship. That's also a way of being. That's also a community that's also a bit of a family, all sort of weirdly quantum entangled together. And I'd really like to have any and all of you as a part of it, because we're going that way, okay? No way but that way. And you can go whatever direction that way you want, but we don't go down here. We go up. We go up out of pits. So let's go. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Peace.